We live in an era of unprecedented confusion regarding the dynamics between men and women. You have been raised on a diet of Hollywood romance and sanitized social advice that tells you the key to a woman's heart is to be her best friend, her confidant, and her safe harbor. You are told that if you are agreeable, available, and transparent, she will reward you with passion. This is the single greatest lie ever told to the modern man. Biology does not care about your social conditioning. Biology does not care about what is politically correct. The brutal truth, supported by the work of experts like Esther Perel and evolutionary psychology, is that desire and love operate on two completely different rulebooks. Love seeks closeness. Love seeks to bridge the gap, to merge two people into one safe unit. But desire? Desire hates safety. Desire requires distance. Desire requires a gap. You cannot desire what you already possess. You cannot crave what is sitting right in front of you, accessible, predictable, and conquered. Think about it. When was the last time you felt a burning, nervous, exciting desire for something that was completely guaranteed to be yours? Never. The modern nice guy kills desire because he eliminates the gap. He is so terrified of losing the woman that he collapses all tension. He agrees with everything she says. He is available 24/7. He reveals every thought in his head. He becomes a piece of furniture, reliable, sturdy, but completely invisible to the erotic imagination. To trigger deep, biological attraction in a woman, you must stop trying to be safe and start being forbidden. You must reintroduce the element of the unknown. You must become a man who has his own world, his own mind, and his own boundaries. The forbidden phrases we are about to discuss are not just words. They are psychological triggers that signal to a woman's primal brain that you are a man of high status, a man who cannot be controlled, and therefore, a man worth chasing. We are going to dismantle the nice guy programming that has made you invisible and replace it with the mindset of the sovereign male. The dynamic of most modern relationships is a subtle power struggle for validation. When a man expresses an opinion, a plan, or a belief, he often looks to the woman for confirmation. He checks her face. Is she smiling? Does she agree? Is she okay with this? This micro-behavior signals a fatal weakness. It shows that your reality is fragile and depends on her approval to exist. When she challenges you or disagrees with you, the average man gets defensive. He starts to argue, to explain, to justify. He tries to convince her. Why? Because he needs her agreement to feel secure in his own stance. This is the behavior of a subordinate, not a leader. A king does not need his subjects to agree with his laws for them to be laws. The first forbidden phrase is the antidote to this weakness. When you are in a disagreement, or when you state a controversial opinion and she pushes back, you do not fight, you do not explain. You simply look her in the eyes with zero emotional reactivity and say, I don't need you to agree with me. Let's analyze the psychological impact of this moment. By saying this, you are severing the cord of codependency. You are telling her that your worldview is self-generated. You are comfortable standing alone in your truth. This is terrifyingly attractive. It creates an immediate competence gap. She realizes that she cannot manipulate your reality with her emotions or her disapproval. Most men crumble when a woman withdraws validation. By showing that you are immune to her withdrawal, you become an immovable object. It forces her to respect you. And remember this axiom: a woman cannot desire a man she can dominate. When you remove the need for her agreement, you become a challenge. You become a man she has to figure out, rather than a man who has already handed her the manual to his brain. Surface-level communication is the death of intimacy. How was your day? Good. What do you want for dinner? Whatever. This is the script of roommates, not lovers. Desire lives in the shadows. It lives in the things we are afraid to say, the fantasies we are ashamed of, the anger we suppress, and the judgments we hide. Women in particular are conditioned by society to be good girls, to be polite, accommodating, and soft. But beneath that social mask lies a reservoir of raw, chaotic, and sometimes dark energy. The nice guy is afraid of this darkness. He wants everything to be pleasant. He cannot handle her rage or her primal nature. Therefore, she hides it from him, and along with it, she hides her passion. To unlock her desire, you must be the man who invites the darkness. When she is holding back, when she is giving you the polite version of a story, or when she is hesitating, you must pierce through the veil. You use the command, "Tell me the part you are actually afraid to say." This phrase works on two levels. First, it demonstrates your strength. It signals, "I am not a fragile man. You don't need to protect my feelings. I can handle your truth, no matter how ugly or controversial it is." This creates a container of safety that niceness can never achieve. Second, it creates a conspiracy of two. When she reveals her shadow to you, her jealousies, her taboos, her fears, you become the only person in the world who truly knows her. You become her accomplice. This level of psychological nakedness is a precursor to physical nakedness. You are no longer just a partner. You are the keeper of her secrets. By validating the parts of her that society rejects, you become an addiction. She creates a bond with you that she cannot replicate with the safe men who only want to hear the pretty lies. Before we move to the final three phrases, which are the most aggressive and high-stakes tools in your arsenal, we need to address the resistance rising in your mind right now. You might be thinking, but won't this make her angry? Won't this push her away? That fear is your enemy. That fear is the voice of the mediocre man who would rather be comfortable and passionless than take the risk required for greatness. You have to decide what you want. Do you want a quiet, sexless companionship where you are merely tolerated? Or do you want a dynamic, electric connection where you are deeply desired? If you are choosing the latter, you need to stop consuming this content passively. You need to commit to the transformation. Hit the subscribe button right now. This is not just a YouTube channel. It is a repository for the forbidden knowledge that society tries to suppress. If you want to master the dynamics of power and attraction, you need to be here for every single lesson. Comment below with "I am ready to lead" to signal to your subconscious that you are done being a spectator. Now, let us strip away the final layers of nice guy conditioning and learn how to lead with absolute decisiveness. Nothing dries up a woman's attraction faster than a man who cannot make a decision. The phrase, "What do you want to do?" is often intended as a kindness, but to the feminine mind, it is a burden. It forces her into the masculine role of leadership. It forces her to plan, to decide, to risk being wrong. When you abdicate leadership, you force her to become your mother. And biologically, sexually, she cannot desire the man she has to mother. The nice guy waits for permission to live his life. He puts his existence on hold until she decides the direction. This makes him an accessory to her life, rather than the main character of his own. You must flip this dynamic entirely. You must become a vector, a force with direction and magnitude. The phrase to use is, "I am going to do this, activity/plan. You are welcome to join me. I am going to the art gallery downtown. I am going to hike this trail. I'm going to try that new steakhouse." Notice the structure. You are doing it regardless of her presence. You are not asking. You are inviting. You are the moving train, and she has the option to board the train or stay at the station. This triggers the fear of missing out, FOMO. When she sees you moving forward with purpose, enjoying your life, and engaging with the world on your own terms, she feels a magnetic pull to be part of that energy. She wants to enter your frame. This relieves her of the pressure to decide and allows her to relax into her feminine energy, which is receiving and experiencing rather than planning and executing. By taking the lead, you create the space for her to simply enjoy you. The economy of desire is based on supply and demand. If your availability is infinite, your value is zero. If your compliance is guaranteed, your respect is non-existent. The nice guy believes that saying yes is the currency of love. He says yes to unreasonable demands, yes to disrespect, yes to changing his plans for her whims. He thinks he is buying affection, but he is actually selling his dignity. A woman constantly tests boundaries. It is an unconscious mechanism to see if the man is strong enough to protect her. If you cannot protect your own boundaries from her, how can you protect her from the world? If you crumble every time she pushes, you are unsafe. You must learn to love the word no. The fourth forbidden phrase is the calm, non-negotiable boundary. No, that doesn't work for me. You do not offer a 5-minute explanation. You do not apologize profusely. You simply state it as a fact of nature. No, I can't meet at that time. That doesn't work for me. No, I won't tolerate that tone. That doesn't work for me. When you draw a line in the sand, you become tangible. You become real. A man with boundaries is a man of high value because he protects his time, his energy, and his self-respect. In that moment of refusal, she might act annoyed, but deep down, her biological circuitry lights up. She realizes she is dealing with a man who cannot be bought. She realizes she has to earn your yes, and human beings only value what they have to work for. By denying her immediate gratification, you increase the value of your eventual attention. We arrive now at the pinnacle of seductive philosophy. This is the phrase that encapsulates the entire concept of Esther Perel's erotic intelligence. It addresses the fundamental tension between love and desire. Love is about security. Desire is about the threat of loss. The nice guy projects intense neediness. I can't live without you. You are my everything. While this sounds romantic in a Disney movie, in real life, it is a heavy burden. It tells the woman that she is responsible for your emotional survival. That is not sexy, that is exhausting. It makes you a parasite, feeding off her validation. The ultimate forbidden phrase, to be used in moments of deep intensity or when redefining the relationship is, I want you, but I don't need you. This is the nuclear option. I want you creates the passion. It tells her she is chosen, she is desired, she is beautiful. But the second half, but I don't need you, creates the freedom. It tells her that you are a complete human being on your own. You are not with her because you are afraid of being alone. You are with her because you choose her. It also implies a threat. If the relationship becomes toxic, if she stops respecting you, you have the strength to walk away. You will survive without her. This precise level of erotic anxiety is what keeps the spark alive for decades. She realizes she never fully owns you. You are a wild creature that has chosen to stay by her side for now, but the door is unlocked. This keeps her on her toes. It keeps her investing, chasing, and trying to win you over, day after day. We have spent the last 40 minutes dissecting the linguistic codes of desire. We have explored the forbidden phrases that trigger a biological response in the female psyche. But now, we arrive at the most critical juncture of this entire discussion, the point where most men will fail. There is a terrifying trap waiting for you if you take these phrases and treat them like magic spells or cheat codes in a video game. You cannot simply memorize the words, I don't need you, and expect the world to bow at your feet. Words are merely the container. The substance is your energy. If you speak the language of a king, but you carry the vibrating anxiety of a beggar, she will know. Women are biologically engineered to be human lie detectors. Millions of years of evolution have trained them to detect incongruence, the mismatch between what a man says and what he actually feels. If you say, no, that doesn't work for me, but your voice cracks, your eyes dart away, and your heart is pounding with the fear that she might leave you, the phrase will backfire. It will not make you look strong. It will make you look like a fraud. It will look like a costume you put on to impress her. And there is nothing, absolutely nothing, more repulsive to a woman than a weak man pretending to be a dangerous one. Authenticity is the only currency that matters in the marketplace of desire. Before these phrases can leave your lips, they must first take root in your soul. You are not learning a script. You are learning a new state of being. Let's go deeper into this concept of becoming. When I tell you to use the phrase, I want you, but I don't need you, this cannot be a bluff. You have to understand the physics of need. Neediness is a smell. It is a subtle, desperate frequency that radiates from a man who has no purpose outside of his relationship. If your happiness, your self-worth, and your emotional stability are entirely dependent on her smiling at you, you are a slave. And a woman cannot desire a slave. She might pity him, she might use him, she might even love him like a pet, but she will never look at him with that raw, hungry look of surrender. To make these phrases work, you must undergo a physiological change. You must build a life so rich, so challenging, and so fulfilling that her presence is truly just a bonus, not the foundation. You need a mission that wakes you up in the morning before she does. You need a brotherhood of men who hold you accountable. You need physical challenges that harden your body and your mind. When you have these things, you don't have to pretend you don't need her validation. You genuinely won't need it. Because you have sources of power that exist outside of her. When you possess this internal power, your voice changes. It drops an octave, your eye contact becomes steady, your movements become slower, more deliberate. You stop fidgeting. This is what we call subcommunication. It is the message you send without speaking. When your subcommunication matches your spoken words, that is when you become dangerous. That is when you become irresistible. The hardest part of this integration will be the death of the nice guy inside you. You have been programmed since childhood to be a pleaser. You were told that if you are nice, you will be safe. Breaking this programming feels like dying. When you first look her in the eyes and say, "I am going to do this. You are welcome to join me," your stomach will turn. You will feel a spike of adrenaline. Your brain will scream, "What if she gets mad? What if she leaves?" You must let that nice guy die. You must drag him to the altar of your new life and sacrifice him. This is where the concept of the shadow becomes real. You must accept that you are capable of being selfish. You are capable of being cold. You are capable of walking away. This doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a complete person. A man who cannot be dangerous is not virtuous. He is just harmless. A man who can be dangerous but chooses to be loving, that is virtue. That is strength. When you invite her to see your shadow, tell me the part you are afraid to say. You are showing her that you have integrated your own monsters. You are not the fragile boy who needs a mommy. You are the integrated man who can handle the complexity of adult passion. This integration is what separates the boys from the kings. It transforms the relationship from a codependent safety net into a dynamic arena of growth and eroticism. So what does the life of the man who uses these phrases look like? Let's visualize it. This man, the sovereign man, values his time above all else. When he says no, it is because his time is already allocated to his purpose, his health, or his empire. He is not sitting on the couch waiting for a text message. He is busy building. Because he is busy building, his attention is scarce. And because his attention is scarce, it is valuable. When he comes home to his woman, he is fully present. He is not distracted by insecurity. He looks at her and says, "I want you." And she feels the weight of that desire because she knows it comes from a man who has options. She knows he could be anywhere else, doing anything else, but he chose to be there with her. That choice is the ultimate compliment. This man does not seek conflict, but he never runs from it. If she disrespects him, he withdraws his attention immediately. He trains her on how to treat him, not through shouting or violence, but through the withdrawal of his presence. He understands that his presence is a gift, not a right. This architecture of lifestyle, where you are the prize, is the soil in which these forbidden phrases grow. Without the lifestyle, the words are hollow. With the lifestyle, the words are law. We are at the end of the broadcast, but the beginning of your work. Do not close this video and go back to your old patterns. Do not go back to apologizing for your existence. Do not go back to asking for permission to breathe. The script I have given you is a map, but a map is useless if you do not walk the terrain. The path I am asking you to walk is lonely at first. It requires you to be misunderstood. People will say you have changed. They will say you are different. Good. You are supposed to be different. You are supposed to be evolving. The nice guy is a static character. He never changes. The sovereign man is constantly becoming something more. Take these 5 phrases. Write them down. Put them on your mirror. But more importantly, look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I the kind of man who has the right to say these words? If the answer is no, then get to work. Build your body. Sharpen your mind. Pursue your mission. Become the man who doesn't need to fake it. The era of begging for affection is over. The era of negotiating for desire is finished. You are entering the era of command. Not commanding her, but commanding yourself. Because when a man fully commands himself, his emotions, his path, his boundaries, the world, and the women in it naturally fall into his orbit.